Ladies and gentlemen, we now come to the end of technical session 3 here. And moving on, we now have AIU business session followed by valedictory session at 12:30 p.m. And may I now request the AIU personnel to take the session forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, good noon, everybody, and welcome to the business session of AIU. Am I audible?
Very much audible, madam.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Now, this session will be chaired by Honorable President of AIU. President is not there. So now, in place of our President, our Vice President, Professor Thiruva Sagam sir is there. Sir, I request you to chair this session, and I request Madam Pankaj Mittal to convene this session. Thank you, Madam. Over to you, sir, for chairing this session.
Honorable Vice Chancellor and past President of Association of India University, Professor Salangi, Secretary General, ever dynamic, enthusiastic Dr. Pankaj Mittal, Dr. Sivas Ramakrishnan, the Vice Chancellor of the hosting university of Geetham University, participating Vice Chancellors, especially the Vice Chancellors who have given a thought-provoking, interesting speech during the last session. I welcome you all to this business session. First of all, I would like to make a special request to all the Vice Chancellors. The Association of India University is a body which is meant for the universities of India, both private and public as well. All the universities are members. Right now, we have almost 880 member universities with us. Unfortunately, the participation of Vice Chancellors in the programs like the conference of this nature is not that much good in number one. And as most of you know very well, this is the 5th conference, the regional conference. So far, we have successfully completed 4 conferences. This one is 5th conference. I had the rare opportunity of attending all the sessions of all the previous conferences and this conference as well. It is a sorry state of affair that the number of Vice Chancellors coming as participants is almost in every region not more than 60 or 70. But of course, the particular region has more than 250 to 3 Vice Chancellors. Moreover, we should appreciate Dr. Pankaj Mittal. She organized an exclusive session meant for interface with the officials of AICTE and NAAC. Yes. When you calculate in the 5th conference also, we have invited 10 officials from both the AICTE and the NAAC. As a matter of fact, they have delivered a very, very useful speech, and they were prepared to listen to the grievances or requests from the Vice Chancellors. Again, I am sorry to share with you that only 1 or 2 Vice Chancellors alone raised the questions, as if we don't have any grievance with these bodies. We have a lot of grievances. Even during the last session, some of the speakers very specifically mentioned that how we are far behind in getting our regular rights and powers from the apex bodies. So it is my earnest appeal to the Vice Chancellors. You have to understand that AIU is your body and our body. You can take part in your capacity not only as a Vice Chancellor, but also an academic expert and researcher as well. For yesterday, I was in Association of India University office. That time, I had a detailed discussion with the Secretary General. I requested her that why not we go for a list of academic consultants and research consultants. Because among the Vice Chancellors, there are Vice Chancellors really they are good enough in their research field. Particularly, they are exemplary in their own domain. After retirement and even during service, and the concerned university is not able to, to make use of his service or her service, or otherwise, during the time of Vice Chancellorship as an administrator, we may not find time to spare, go for consultancy, to go for helping industry and other even government project also. After the retirement, we can very well contribute much towards the research or academic in general and towards the economic development of the country also. So Dr. Pankaj Mittal told that, sir, we can send a communication to all the present Vice Chancellors and past Vice Chancellors. We can get details from them, their background in research, background in academic achievement and all. We can list out those achievements and put it in the university AAU website. And we can circulate to major industries and organizations of industries and apex bodies and universities in abroad also. And definitely there will be a very good demand from all sections of the people to get utilizing service of our Vice Chancellors. And whatever consultancy money we receive, that can be a portion can be given to the consultant, a portion can be retained for as a part of fundraising for the Association of India University as well. Likewise, I invite the Vice Chancellor present in the past. Please have faith on Association of India University. You take part and see that your capability, capacity, knowledge, expertise will be maximum utilized by us. Moreover, if you have any grievances which you cannot tell very openly the conference like this, grievance in the sense, grievance of your university, you can very well write a letter to AAU and we will take those type of requests directly to the chairmen of various bodies, and we are confident that fortunately our Secretary General Pankaj Mittal, she has worked more than 30 years in the University Grants Commission. Now AAU feel we are very, very lucky and fortunate to have such a very dynamic administrator who had wide experience with all rules and regulations, notifications, acts of ACT, how the UGC can help both the state universities and public universities. Moreover, she served as a Vice Chancellor also after we were taking the position of Secretary General. So we have to make use of your service and see that all of our problems will be solved in right time. With these few words of my introduction, I am inviting Dr. Pankaj Mittal to give her address of the valedictory session. Please, Dr. Pankaj Mittal.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Honorable Vice President of AIU, Professor Thiruvasagam, the esteemed Vice Chancellors, Vice Chancellor of the host university. This AIU business session is basically to apprise our Vice Chancellors at what all we have done in the last year and what are the future suggestions of the Vice Chancellors, what they want to suggest to us, or if there are some issues which they want us to take up with the government, we can take it up. If there are some issues with the AIU, say yesterday one issue was raised with regard to seniority of Vice Chancellors. If any such type of issue is there, it can be taken up in the AIU business session. But in the beginning, very briefly, I'll give you a presentation on what all we have done in the last year, and last year being the COVID year, it was a little more difficult for us to undertake activities and give a lot of services to our member universities, but I am happy to share with you that it seems that we have done more during the COVID year rather than the normal years. So I'll just share a small presentation with you in which I'll tell you that what all we have done during the past 1 year. Are you able to see the presentation?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'll put it in the slideshow. Okay. So I'll very quickly give so that we can have time to discuss, and if there are some issues to be discussed, they can be discussed. So first and foremost, for the new members of AIU, AIU came into existence in 1925. So we have completed 95 years of our existence, and very soon we'll be celebrating the centenary year of AIU. But at that time, it was established as an inter-university board on 23rd March 1925, and it was registered as a society in on 29th September 1967. And you will be happy to know that stalwarts like Dr. Sarvepalli Radhakrishnan, who was the president of India, Dr. Zakir Hussain, Dr. Mudalia, Dr. Srimadi, Dr. Shyama Prasad Mukherjee, they all have been the presidents of AIU in the past. So this is the legacy of AIU. Then this is the present membership. We have about 1,000 universities in the country. Out of this, 822 are the members of AIU, out of which 49 are central universities, 348 state universities, 113 deemed universities, 249 private universities, 46 INIs, institutions of national importance, which are IITs, NITs, ISAs, etc. And we do also have 17 international members, means 17 international universities as our associate members. These are the functions and activities of AIU. We basically do the work of liaison and lobby between the universities and the government. Like recently, there was an issue with regard to payment of patent fee to the, there was a discount on the payment of patent fee for the universities. And this circular came, and this was from the Ministry of Commerce. And it was seen that in the definition, educational institutions were defined as the ones who are government educational institutions. So private educational institutions are left out. So we took it upon AIU to take care of this, and we have written a letter to Ministry of Commerce that in the definition of educational institutions, private universities should also be included, so that they are also encouraged to go into research, patenting, IPR and all. So this type of liaising and lobbying we do with the government, between the government and the universities. We do a lot of consultation and coordination work. We do tell if some university is doing good work, or some webinar is happening, or some course is being given by some particular university. We do share that information with our member universities. We do the capacity building and leadership development. A lot of research, publication, and information dissemination is done. Cultural activities and youth festivals, again, that is a very important activity. Sports promotion is done. We did Khelo India University Games last year. And evaluation and equivalence of degrees is done, which is a mandate given to AIU by the Ministry of Education, that to give equivalence of foreign degrees with the Indian degrees. These are the new initiatives which were taken during the COVID year, last year. So what we did was that because to improve the visibility of AIU, at times we felt that AIU is doing a lot of work, but the visibility is not there. So we redid the AIU website. If you go to the AIU website, you will see that it is totally new. We are now having the media presence. AIU Twitter handle is very, very active. Facebook page is there, LinkedIn account is there, so that we can disseminate information from all sources. AIU flag has been redesigned. If you see at the back of my chair, there's a AIU flag which has been redesigned. The AIU building is being renovated, and a lot of conference facilities will be available to our fellow vice chancellors and the universities if they want to do any conference in India. So very good world-class conference facilities we are making available for you. And national conference we are proposing to hold every year from 23rd to 25th March, and club it with the AIU Foundation Day, because 23rd March we were established in 1925. So the first Foundation Day lecture was held last year by the Nobel laureate Shri Kailash Satyarthi ji on 17th August 2020. We could not hold it on 23rd March because of the COVID and the subsequent lockdown. We also take care of our teachers, faculty, in the sense that we did many online workshops for training the faculty on how to teach online, because when the COVID struck and all the universities and colleges were closed and the teachers were supposed to teach from home, so neither the students nor the teachers were very much aware of how to undertake online teaching. So we did 3 online workshops for teachers on how to teach online. We did online workshop for placement officers that how to do online placements, including the internships. We collaborated with National Digital Library, and we also did a vice session. I mean, this was again very much liked session, an interactive session of Vice Chancellor with Sadhguru, in which he replied to the questions and queries of the Vice Chancellors. So in that, a video message by the Honorable HRM was also played. AIU University News has also been redesigned. You must be seeing now it is more colorful, more, designed in a better way. And it is also digitized. So e-copy of the University News is uploaded on the AIU website regularly. So the old versions, old copies of the University News can be seen from the University AIU website. We also did a we were making a book called Reimagining Indian Universities. So on that topic, scholarly articles were invited from various eminent authors, and those articles were also uploaded every Friday. We named it as Friday Scholarly Series of Articles. So every Friday, a new article was uploaded on the AIU website. That also was received in a very, very positive manner by our Vice Chancellor. And we also did a one-week course on community engagement and university social responsibility in collaboration with Priya. We have also created WhatsApp groups of Vice Chancellors for easy dissemination of information. If any of the Vice Chancellors present here is not a member of the WhatsApp group and wants to become a member, please write to me or write to AIU. We will include you there. And it is a very, very easy way of getting the information then and there. And we are also thinking of establishing a network called Indian Network of International Higher Education. It will be established soon. With Shri Shri Ravi Shankar ji also, we did a webinar on reshaping higher education. A self-paced free online course is available on the AIU website, again for training the teachers to how to teach online. We also did live demo sessions on various platforms which are available for online teaching so that the teachers as well as the students get acquainted with them. And we also did the demonstration center for online internships and placements. These were the 5 workshops, 5 zonal conferences which we did last year. Of course, these were held in face-to-face mode. But this year, South Zone is the last conference which we are holding. All the 5 zonal conferences were held in virtual mode. And the annual conference we are proposing to hold now, rather than March, we think we should be holding in April, because by that time we expect that the COVID situation will be a little better. And we want to hold it in a blended mode so that whoever wants to come and who wishes to join the main conference in the face-to-face mode, they can come to Ahmedabad, and the rest can join online also. So it will be a blended mode conference. Last 94th annual general body meeting was to be held at National Law University, but it was postponed and then held in 17th to 18th August due to COVID and the lockdown. The AIU library has been automated. The sole software has been implemented for computerization and digitization of AIU library services. Every day, the daily news clippings relating to higher education are shared with the Vice Chancellor. So again, if any Vice Chancellor is not getting it and if they want to receive it, please write to us. You will get the daily news clippings on higher education from the AIU side. And then every month we do a compendium of articles and editorials. I mean, out of these news clippings, news we leave out, but if there are very good articles on higher education, we create a compendium every month, and that is also shared with the Vice Chancellors every month. Again, if somebody is not receiving, please let us know. We will send it to you. And the bibliography is also being computerized. So far in the bibliography, we were giving only the title of the thesis, the name of the university, and the name of the student and the guide. But now we are complementing it with the QR code access. So when you scan the QR code, you can see not only the abstract of the thesis, but also the full text of the thesis. So this has been done now. We are also computerizing the entire functioning of AIU, and we are doing it through InfluNet Ahmedabad. And every university has to be on the AIU portal. So if your university has not registered as yet, please register using the login ID and password, which has already been sent to you. And if you're not able to locate that login ID and password, please again tell us, we will send it to you again. So under that, online payment gateway has already been implemented. AIU admission portal has already been implemented. That is, if you have filled in that portal that what all programs your university is running. So any student say looking for BSA Physics. So if he writes BSA Physics in the AIU portal, down will come the list of your universities which are running this program. And it is an easy way to get the students. Similarly, AIU equivalence portal has been completely computerized. Now nobody has to visit the AIU. The equivalence certificate is given in the downloadable form to the students, and the student has to apply online, pay online, and get the certificate online. So this is complete computerization of the AIU equivalence portal. VC seniority portal, today we will be closing it, or maybe in 1 or 2 days we'll be closing it. So please, if the vice chancellors have not filled in their seniority, you won't be sending it by, say, surface mail or by email. You have to fill it in the AIU portal. So please go to the AIU portal and fill the seniority list, because seniority list will be required for nominating the people on the governing council, and also for nominating the vice president and president of AIU. So please fill up your seniority list on the AIU portal. Sports portal has also been activated, and all the entries of the sports, I mean, whosoever wants to play in the AIU games, whether it is zonal or national or international, you have to apply through the AIU sports portal. So please register your students on the AIU sports portal. Now, there's some of the portals like membership portal, youth affairs portal, and collaboration portal. They are in the pipeline, and the intent is that all the services of AIU, they will be online in future. Internationalization, we signed MOU with two bodies. One is UUKI, which is a sort of AIU parallel in UK, and NUS, which is a AIU parallel in Mexico. So based on that, there were two MOUs also, one by Jamia Hamdard and one by IFLU. So these two universities signed the MOU. If any of your universities wishes to have collaboration with Mexican universities and UK universities, you can approach us and we can help you under these two MOUs. So we also did some workshop with UNESCO and the World Bank. Roundtable of Vice Chancellors was held in many issues like ER, eligible enrollment ratio, towards more effective education in STEM disciplines, philanthropy, and world university rankings. These were the workshops which were held during the past year, all in the online mode. These were the courses which were held. Right now we have a MOU with Quedex. Quedex is a offshoot of COSPIR UK, and they are providing online courses for the faculty for effective online teaching. So if your faculty members want to, and then there are something like 50 to 100 courses in that Quedex platform. So if your university's faculty wants to join those courses, go to AIU site, you will see the Quedex platform, so they can be joining those online programs. These are the research publications. We gave Indian Higher Education Profile 2018-19. It was sent to all the universities. A book on reimagining Indian universities. Only within a week, we will be getting the copies and sending to you. COVID-19 response toolkit that was made in consultation with the Jindal Global University. And that has also been sent to all the universities, which gives a step-by-step guide on how to reopen the educational institutions. So for every aspect, whether it is sanitation, health, academics, research, for everything, how to reopen the institutions, that is given in this toolkit. Please go through that. And a book on protecting academic interest of students. And we are sharing best practices of COVID-19 pandemic, that is under preparation. And a survey report on preparedness of Indian higher education institutions for online education. Means we did conduct a survey to see how prepared the Indian higher education institutions are for online education. Survey is over. The report is also almost complete. Within a week or so, we'll be bringing out the report. These are some of the glimpses of the activities, research activities. Youth Affairs, last National Youth Festival was held in MIT University. South Asian Youth Festival was held in Kshetra University. First AIU National Moot Court Competition was hosted by Rajiv Gandhi National Law University, Patiala. We have formulated the AIU Youth Affairs policy also. And if you have any comments, it is on the AIU website. You can please send your comments. And an online event, I mean, because during the COVID, students were feeling very depressed. So we did an online event called Kuch Artistic Corona, which saw a huge response, and something like 2359 entries were received. I mean, entries means video performances of the students were received from about 600 higher education institutions. These are some of the glimpses of the youth affairs activities. And in sports, first Khelo India University Games, that is a feather in our cap. That first Khelo India University Games were held at the national level in KEET University, Bhubaneswar. It was inaugurated by the Honorable PM. And the next Khelo India University Games have been announced, and they will be held by they'll be hosted by Jain University in Bangalore. So they'll be held in February 2022. Similarly, many more championships, whether World University or Indian University, they were held. These are some of the glimpses of the sports events. And equivalence of degrees, I have already told you that we have done it totally online. So it's, and then also we are saying that because of the international trend, we should be shifting from duration approach to the credit approach. That is, if the credits are equal, then we should be giving the equivalence of the degrees. And for PGDBM equivalence to MBA, we are treating NBA, ACSB, AMBA, and EQUIS at par with NBA. So if you have these type of accreditations, then it can be treated at par with NBA. And more than 2,000 equivalent certificates were issued last year. So these were the activities which took place last year. So the floor is now open for the Vice Chancellors. If anything you want to suggest for improving the activities of AIU, if you want to suggest anything which you want us to take up to the government, that can be done. Professor Faizan Mustafa. So please unmute.
Yeah, thank you, madam, and congratulations for making AIU really vibrant. The kind of social media presence AIU today has is entirely because of your dynamic leadership. And I must congratulate AIU office bearers for this remarkable achievement, because unless we are in social media, we don't exist today. Now, in your presentation, you also referred to updating of the seniority of the Vice Chancellor. So I want to make a very small request here. You know, as a student of constitutional law, which is the supreme law of land, whenever we teach amendments to the Constitution, and this is when it was discussed in the Constituent Assembly when we were framing the amendment provision, then it was suggested that no one generation has the monopoly of wisdom. And the framers of the Constitution said, we don't want to govern the future generations from our graves. And therefore, change is constant. We always keep changing. Just to take an example, that earlier in accreditation, we were doing duration-wise. Our focus was whether it is 1 year course or 2 year course. Now, very rightly, you have said that we will move from duration to the credits. Similarly, I want to say that if Constitution can be amended, if parliamentary laws can be amended, then our General Council decisions can also be reviewed, amended, modified, or changed. So there is absolutely no bar in reviewing our earlier decisions. So our earlier GC decision was that even if there is a break in the tenure of a Vice Chancellor, we will ignore the break and give him presidentship or vice presidentship. I think this rule is contrary to the law of the land. It is contrary to the Constitution because it is arbitrary. We have to look at the continuous, uninterrupted tenure of the Vice Chancellor for our positions. There are cases where there is a gap of a decade. Somebody had a gap of 10 years in one Vice Chancellorship and in another Vice Chancellorship. And we are overlooking that gap of 10 years and considering the seniority which was acquired 10 years ago. I think this rule needs a review, and our General Council, I very strongly suggest, should look at it, because what then happens that you will be deprived of young dynamic education leaders joining or being on your bodies. I'm not particularly myself keen. If you want, I told Professor Pankaj Mittal that I am willing to give in writing that I am not in race. But since the rule is arbitrary, you see, if anyone goes to the court of law, it will take less than 2 minutes for the court to say that it is violative of Article 14, because Article 14 now includes right against arbitrariness. In any service, anywhere in the world, if there is a break in the service, then that break is given importance. AIU as a body which receives funds from the government cannot say that we will overlook breaks. You cannot overlook breaks. And therefore, kindly review this decision. It will drastically help AIU in getting younger lot in your governance. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Vice President, sir, you would like to comment? Sir, you have to unmute yourself. Please unmute yourself, sir.
So basically, I do agree with the Vice Chancellor because it's not the version of the Vice Chancellor. His background is totally different. He's a professor of Constitution, professor of law. That we have to listen to him as well. You are absolutely right, sir. A time has come to relook the Constitution and bylaws of the Association of India University. Okay. That is the reason in every conference we go for a business session like this. Now you have placed a very important issue that we will take it to the General Council meeting. And as you know, we have to give priority for democracy as well. So we must listen all age group of people, and certainly there should be some change. Hopefully we will be considering your request, and in turn it will be placed and get it sanctioned or permitted, or if at all not, the adequate reply will be given to the Vice Chancellor. Thank you, sir.
Okay, sir. So we'll place it in the Governing Council of the AIU.
Governing Council, yes.
Any other suggestion from any member? If not, then, sir, should we proceed to the valedictory session?
Yeah, very well, we can go ahead, madam.
So I will have to check whether Professor Anil Sahasrabudhe sir has joined or not, because he had a very limited time from 12:30 to 1 only.
Anil.
We are on time, Professor Mitra. It is 12:30.
Yes.
In this sense,
Your time management is perfect. I
Thank
observed it
you.
yesterday also.
Yes.
For each session, you are absolutely on dot.
We are trying, because in good conferences, time management is important. If time
Right, you're right. Absolutely right. Absolutely right.
So I would then thank all the esteemed Vice Chancellors. Special thanks to Professor Mustafa for raising this important issue. And we will now move on to session.
Information brochure.
Vice President, sir, you would like to say some closing words, then we will hand over to the Master of Ceremonies for starting the valedictory session.
You mean that I want to take the...
Means, I mean, if you want to say some closing remarks for closing.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. It's fine as well. What else? First of all, I would like to convey my compliments and congratulations to the officials, especially management and officials of the Geetham University, especially the Vice Chancellor of Geetham University, Professor Sivaramakrishnan. He has given really a very interesting speech during his address that is also to be taken into consideration. Likewise, I admire the president of the Geetham University, Sri Bharatji as well. Nowadays, rare to come across administrators of the private universities speak that much well by incorporating all the aspects of not only the finance, but also the curriculum and the internalization of higher education and of course finance as well. So, Bharatji, please accept my compliments. Moreover, the Geetham University, starting from Vice Chancellor and what we have seen, Professor Susma as well, every one of you contributed a lot. Continuously, I have been watching. There was no interruption, especially the team, networking team also made a tremendous work. Out of all the 5 conferences, I should not rank it because I'm the Vice President of the organization as well. Of course, I have the privilege. I am from South. I am also Vice Chancellor of Southern University as well. I feel proud. One of the universities of southern part of India has done a exemplary, marvelous work in conducting this conference successfully. So on behalf of the management and on behalf of especially the President of AAU, Professor Tej Pratap, and Secretary General Pankaj Mittal, we would like to register our sincere thanks to the management, the administration, and the faculty, non-teaching staff of the Gidam University for the dedicated, contribution made to make the program very successful. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much, sir, for the kind acknowledgement, sir. Thank you very much.
You deserve more than that as well. See, as decided in the Governing Council meeting of AAC 5 months ago, we have planned and successfully conducted 5 conferences. The present conference theme is the governance reforms and financing of higher education. Yes, which one is the need of the hour, not only for the universities, but also for the Ministry of Education. Previously, it was MHRD. Now we call it as a Ministry of Education. At this juncture, I would like to share with you. Basically, all of us are very happy under UGC, AICTE, and NAC, all because of the good work done by UGC, especially our Secretary General also there with UGC for 3 decades. Now we have 1,100 universities, 45,000 colleges, 3 million graduates are going out every year from all the institutions. Our GER is comparatively better. It is nearly 40%. A country of democracy in nature and the country gives top priority for social justice. We are very much successful. All this credit we can pass on to the apex bodies like UGC, AICTE, NAC, and there are some other statutory bodies like Medical Council of India, etc., etc. We don't have any grievance with them in a bigger way as well. But in spite of that, present government felt that there should be some restructure for any country, for any organization. After some period, there must be some change in the structure and governance as well. So the responsibility has been entrusted with Dr. Kasturi Rangan, not only to look into the affairs of governance and financing, but also how we can ensure by giving employable education to our students and, of course, providing quality research. These are all the major terms of reference given to Kasturi Rangan ji. So Kasturi Rangan ji has taken a serious efforts by consulting all the experts and brought out the documents. So I don't want to get into that because on the basis of the recommendation, first of all, he identified certain defects in the governance that without any hesitance, I can tell it's only I'm reproducing the report, statement in the report. Heavy concentration of power with a few bodies. Conflict of interest among those bodies. No coordination between the bodies. All these bodies need total restructuring, overhauling. This is the observation made by Dr. Kasturi Rangan. It is his own perception, he has given it. On the basis of the observation, he has recommended various new bodies that should be centralized, utility-oriented and transparent regulatory system as well. And these bodies should see that accreditation, funding and academic standard setting also should be their objectives. And moreover, one interesting matter is there. In UGC or AICTE or the proposed any body, until this time, there is no representation for the bodies of private and deemed universities. All along, people have the concern that they give secondary preference only to the private and deemed university. I don't know. They have a wrong notion that deemed universities and private universities means they are commercializing education. It is totally false, cannot be accepted. Basically, I am a Vice Chancellor, served in 2 state universities, right now serving in a private and deemed university. I am very much eligible to make comment about the strength and the what is called as the way in which private universities are contributing, especially for the ensuring quality education and especially in research. When you take the number of publications, when you take the patent, when you take the projects, without getting grant from government, the private universities are very supporting a lot to enhance the image of the higher education of India as well. So one or two places, one or two institutions go with the commercialization. It is the duty of the authorities find those institutions and punish them. Instead of that, just generalizing such kind of thing on all the private universities should not be encouraged and need not be there in future as well. So these are all the various observations for which various higher education council is going to be established. NHERC is going to be established, and by which they are going to create a check and balance in the system, and by which there will be minimize the conflict of interest, and they are going to eliminate concentration of power in apex bodies. Okay, fine. Due to time limit, I don't want to go further in the governance, but I would like to say a few of my remarks on financing. Yes, in the financing area, 6% of GDP for education is an announcement recommendation given by Dr. Kasturi Rangan. Yes, we are extremely happy. Since the independence, we didn't get such a funding support from any government or any rulers. Now it's the first time our government of India has given consent to provide 6% GDP. Even in that announcement, there is a subject to. What is subject to? The 6% central government will not give. State government also must give their share. I think most of the Vice Chancellor can agree with me. In certain states, certain universities are not getting even 1 rupee as the grant from state government. Yes, it is a sorry state of affair. State governments are telling that the universities must be independent. They have to raise their own resources, and they have to give guarantee of self-sustainability. When it is a case, how the state government is going to contribute and to make this 6% GDP successful, we have our own doubts as well. Now, these framers of the policy and documents creators must think over it and see that how far it is going to be happen. I have my own doubt. They have to represent once again. And one more, funding for universal access, learning resources, student safety and well-being, appointment of faculty, FDP, faculty development program, equitable high-quality education to STB. This and all possible. Now, this financing, what they are proposing is appointment of faculty. Yes. If the funding is going to be given for appointment of faculty to the state university and to private university, 100% we salute the administration and we welcome this feature as well. At present, the situation is very bad in the state universities. A few of the state universities, especially Vice Chancellors, are in tension during the last week of every month. How we have to disperse salary to the faculty members in crores. So that's an issue, not only for disbursement of salary, but also the payment of pension to the already retired people and people who are getting retired. This is state of affair of finance as far as the state university is concerned. If the new policy assures that all the faculty appointment, a separate grant will be given, well and good. In the meantime, there are universities already, implemented 7th pay commission. There are universities not yet fully implemented, even 6th pay commission also, because of the funds constraint. So these are all to be taken into consideration. Finally,
Dr. Anil
finally, there should not be any discrimination between state university and central university as far as funding is concerned. This national education policy has given a green signal or has asked the government, there should not be discrimination as far as giving funding for research or infrastructure development. Whatever you pay 50% to a private university, the same 50% must go to the government state university. Such is also a welcome feature. So we need a lot of changes in this report. Those changes we have to bring it to the knowledge of the authorities concerned. Then only they will think over it and give guidelines to us, notification to us at the time of implementation. With these few words of remarks, I would like to congratulate again this Idam University, especially Association of India University, Dr. Pankaj Mittal, and very especially Dr. Rama Devi, and is the backbone all along going around for the last few months and conducted all these programs successfully. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, sir.